Salute, salute. Welcome to Skywalker Boxing Media. No boxing, no problem. We got a special guest today. We got Antonio Vasquez. How you doing, my brother?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Doing good. I want to introduce you to my co-host. I got 86 Boxing, Josh on the bottom.
Very nice to meet you.
Salute to you.
And to the side of me, I got Papi Chunyeyo.
Sure, Papi Chie, what's up, man? How you doing?
Poppy Chun Yayo. Heavy
yeah.
on the Poppy, light on the Yayo.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, so I want to introduce everybody to Antonio Marquez Vasquez. They call him Pelon. He has a fight this Saturday in San Diego. It's a no boxing, no life Canelo Promotions card. And it's been a little while since you've been in the ring, man, since 2020. Can you tell us a little bit about that layoff, man?
Yeah, so I started boxing when I was 9 years old, and I did everything I could in the amateur. So, I turned pro when I was 17. And then during COVID, couldn't fight or nothing, up and coming and not being signed at the time.
Right.
My girlfriend got pregnant, and I had to start working, and then I moved away from my hometown, which was Indian, California. I was just kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, boxing, getting in trouble, and it wasn't the best for me being a father now, so I moved away more to the IE, which is around Corona area, and I just got comfortable working. I kind of like made myself excuses to not come back. I'm a father now; it's hard. I don't find the time. And my girlfriend would be the one pushing me, like, you're just getting lazy, you don't want to get back into it. And then, which last year I was working plumbing, and the supervisor recognized me from when I used to fight. And he's friends with Robert Garcia, so he called him and they let me use his gym. And I started coming back, warming up. And then I started finding rhythm again, and then, started going to see why I fit better. And I landed at P-Town Boxing in Paris. And with Coach Angel Ochoa and Angelito Ochoa, and they got me back into rhythm and got me back into getting into fight. It was always a dream to fight, no time anything else. But like I said, after I became a father, I kind of just.
And my guess was right, because I seen 2020 on the box rec, and I was like, damn, that's when COVID hit, and that impacted a lot of fighters, man, because you weren't allowed to go to gyms, associate with people. So it's hard. You kind of had to train on your own, and a lot of people weren't competing because a lot of events were off because of COVID. So definitely, that was my thought. And what got you into the sport of boxing?
So when I was around 8 years old, my mom and dad got divorced, and my dad got locked up, and kind of went away. I'm the 7 siblings, so I kind of just had a lot of built up anger. I was getting in trouble in school, streets, just doing dumb little stuff, fighting, stuff. My mom actually drove by the Boys and Girls Club in Indio with Joel and Antonio Diaz, and just decided to one day. I never planned it. I didn't even know that you could box as a kid, and she just took us into the gym. And I sparred that first day, and then I liked it. And from there, me and my other 2 brothers, actually, we grew up boxing together. I just stuck with it, but I just kept going at it, and then I ended up just falling in love with it. And I never planned to do nothing else. Like, even in school, so I was a little kid, and teachers would ask me, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to be a professional boxer. They're like, no, realistically, like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to be a professional boxer. Like, even my mom, like, she never planned that for me to be a boxer, but she's the one that put me in it, and then I ended up just wanting to do it full time, and that's how it all started. It kept me out of trouble. That was basically it. I had a lot of anger, and helped me channel it to do something positive. I was life hard coming up. My mom being a single mom of 7, me being the oldest. Me being not able to help being a kid. And all I could do, just go to the gym. So I spent my time at the gym. It just helped me. Being able to do something positive instead of being on the streets or. So that's how it started. So shout out my mom. So
shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out to my Dukes, man. Shout out to all the mothers out there that really grind for it. We appreciate y'all. Definitely appreciate y'all. So hey, the name Pelon, that don't get me wrong, my Spanish that means hairless, right?
It means hairless. So basically, it come from when I was a kid. Me and my brothers, we would get shaved. Like down to so all my family to this day, you hear my mom, grandma, aunts, uncles, whoever it is, they'll call me Pelon cheese. They'll be like, they'll never say my name. So instead of trying to come up with a boxing nickname, I've always left it as, it's genuine, it's natural. I didn't have to come up with it. I've had it since I was, since I was born. I was bald when I was a kid, so and then they didn't like my hair long, so they would shave it. So it was always Pelon, shaved head. So they were like, oh, Pelon cheese. So all my family taught me that, so I let it be, Didn't have to come up with it. So just natural, organic, yeah.
Hey, so would you how would you describe your style?
I'm a counter puncher for sure. Boxer puncher, I like to wait. I like to take my time, I like to. That's why I hate 4 rounders because even in the amateurs, I've always been a real patient, fighter. I like to see what they do, counter, take my time. I don't throw as much punches maybe the first 2 rounds, once I like to dissect, see what they're going to do, how they're going to come forward, what they react to, what feints we're going to get them. So I'm for sure a counter puncher. I could come forward when I need to be, because I am also a strong puncher. Once I know I hurt somebody or I know I'm catching them, I will push forward, but I'm for sure a boxer. I like to move, which is very different for Mexicans, because not a lot of Mexicans like to, box around and use their style. But I like to, you'll see me a lot of the shoulder rolling, move a lot, go to the rope willingly just to slip out. But that's me. I've always boxed that way. So, growing up, my coaches hated it because they're super Mexican style, and I never was like that. I never just it was never me. I never like to do that. I don't like to expose myself to get hit. So, I watched a lot of Sergio Maravilla growing up, and Mayweather. Not a lot of I love watching Mexicans, but I was always more impressed by the defensive style. It was like I don't know. To me, it was nice trying to get through that. So that's what I looked at. So that's where it comes from.
Awesome. Hey, Maravilla, one of my favorites right there. I was also thinking of Juan Manuel Marquez. He was a counter puncher, but he could throw down when he needed to, and he was not shy of doing that right there, Just thinking about some of those guys who, in recent times, done their thing.
It's crazy to say that because those are my probably top two. Maravilla's my number one, and Marcus counter punches for sure my top two.
Oh yeah,
I have a different. A lot of people go what it takes Mayweather, whatever it is. But I've always been Maravilla. When people ask me, they kind of like Maravilla. I'm like, yeah, man, he was badass.
Oh yeah,
brought him up when he was younger. He would have made a bigger impact. So.
Oh yeah. Possibly one of the, or certainly one of the greatest knockouts that we have on film for sure there in the history of the sport right there, man. Beast.
Yeah, Paul
Beast. Yeah. Beast for sure there. Now, did I hear 7 siblings?
Yeah, 7 siblings.
Okay, so you came into boxing knowing how to fight already then, I guess.
I'm the oldest, so my little brothers and stuff,
That is funny. No, good stuff right there. But yeah, shout out to your moms there holding it down. But that's good stuff. You mentioned you had an amateur background, right? So tell us about that in terms of kind of, I don't know if you'll call some fighters, they don't remember exactly how many they had, but just some different things around that.
I'm kind of on the same page, in the USA book, I did around 40 amateur fights, but I was born in Mexicali, so I have dual nationality, so I also fought for the Mexican Junior Olympic team, and I fought at the Nationals of Mexico, and I also, I would do it back and forth, so I would fight some amateur here, fight some amateur in Mexico. From the dual nationality, I had the luxury to fight in both, so that was pretty cool. Also, where I grew up, they do a lot of exhibitions, which are not sanctioned, but they would do them full events, so I had about maybe 40 of those. I probably had overall together, I did 140 amateur fights together,
wow.
60 that weren't on record.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's pretty dope.
Every weekend I was fighting that I knew, every weekend it was a different tournament.
Okay. Real quick, and I was gonna mention Mexicali because of the fact that, embarrassingly, it took me until recently to find out that it was actually in Mexico as opposed to California. And I'm sure I'm not the only one thinking Mexicali, Baja California is in California, but it's not, folks. So if you didn't know that, trust me, we're all on that same page right there. No, I want to throw that out there.
And Andy Ruiz represents Mexicali a lot too, because he's from the Imperial Valley, and it's the border town. Yeah. So I grew up with them a lot,
Okay.
I lived in the Imperial Valley for 3 years, like I said, my mom was struggling, so we kind of get back and forth from India and the Imperial Valley. So I grew up seeing Andy Ruiz and stuff my whole life, So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, you're in a spot where you can just cross the border. I grew up like that too in El Paso. I can just go over to Juarez, every day. I was always back and forth as a kid, because half my family's from Juarez, So yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Like one of my earliest memories, like my grandpa waking me up like 6 a.m. Like, oh, get up, and vamos por unos tacos, and we'll just walk across the border, go get some
Yeah,
tacos, come back, back home, and so I loved it. It's pretty cool to me. A lot of people are not used to crossing, but I grew up with like back
yeah.
and forth. Doctors in Mexico and Mexico, come back home, so that was pretty cool. Yeah.
So, regarding the weight class that you fight in, is this someplace that you plan on being stuck at for a while?
Yeah, when I debuted, I was at 122 super bantamweight. But I was a kid then. I trained when I was 17, so I didn't have a man body yet. I'm coming back at 126, but I felt a lot more comfortable. Obviously I've grown into my body now, especially those years of a couple layoff. I gained more weight. And it was kind of harder to drop that extra 222. And I'm pretty tall for the weight because I'm around 5'9", so I've always been tall for the weight. And just now it came a little harder to cut. So 126, I feel like it's perfect for me right now. So. I feel comfortable. I'm already at weight. I'm like 128 right now. Weightings are Friday, so I'm like perfect. I feel good. I don't feel dehydrated. I don't feel so thin. So I've always cut the weight good because I'm pretty lean. I don't get like super fat or anything. Like I walk on like 140, so it's not too bad of a weight cut.
Man, I mean, 126 is a hell of a weight class.
Yeah,
We feel like we just seen somebody style on somebody with some Tim's on.
yeah,
Is
oh,
that
yeah.
something that you saw?
Yeah. Yeah, 126 is packed, man. There's my boy Venado's under. He's from Mexicali. Shout
Yeah.
out Venado. I grew up sparring him too. Venado. He's my boy. We grew up together. So yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
126 is packed. I mean, you have Angelo Leo, you have Stephen Bolton, and you saw Brandon, Nick Ball, Ray
Yeah.
Vargas.
Stack.
That's
Yeah.
stacked class, man.
Yo.
That's work right there. But
Yeah, that's
I mean, you got some guys in your gym that you're sparring with that are bigger. Like
yeah.
who?
My boy William King. He's out. He's right there from Paris. He fights at around 130, 135. So he real good boxer. Shot. Go follow him, William King. It's my boy
Yeah,
right there. Real good boxer, man. Real good boxer. He's one of my main sparring partners. How me imitate the style from the opponent I'm fighting. Because he likes to, pity pat. And move around. But Will is actually real good at it. So
yeah.
it was a good sparring. So.
I wanted to ask you. I know you're from Indio, California, and they be throwing mad events out there, man. A lot of boxing in Indio. Golden Boy's always out there. Are you always at the fights or what?
When I was growing up, yeah, I used to be. Actually, when I was around, when I first turned pro, or right before I did, I met with Oscar at the Fantasy Springs, and he wrote his number on my ticket. About him, like call me whenever you're ready to go pro. Like in my next world champ, but it never came into fruition. I fought under one of his cards for Facebook Live when he had it, but we never, it never became nothing. But I fought in this card in Mexicali, the event over there and stuff. So. But I was under super bad and stuff and fought on that part, but we never became into fruition. But yeah, I grew up going to the events at the Fantasy Springs. I used to spar his nephew, Diego de la Hoya. So
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah, it's got a lot of boxing where you're at, man.
yeah, I'm watching right there in India, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So this camp has been pretty good, man. I know you've been training and stuff, but have you been taking since you've been out of the ring for a while, man? Have you like really went hard this camp, or did you just train normally like how you normally do?
Oh man, I went crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy for this. Yeah, coming back, it was hard, because I've done it for so long.
Yeah.
But coming back, like feeling the soreness again, and it feels like I never did it in my life, And I was like, I think I doubted myself at one point coming back. I was like, man, like, do I still got it? Like, did I peak like so early because I started so young? And that was kind of hard. But after getting back into rhythm, sparring a lot, and getting back into it and pushing. I felt good again, and now I feel way better than when I first came. When I first turned pro. So when I first turned pro as a kid, I was still learning. I was still learning on the job, even though I felt ready for the pro. Now my body's acclimated better. I'm more mature about everything. Even the way I fight. So we went crazy for camp. So shout out my coaches Angel, Choa, and the son, Angelito Choa. That they worked me good, man. Give me some good sparring. Make sure every day I was on it. So shout out them. That I'm coming in great shape for this fight. So I know my opponent. It's funny. I know the reason they took me is because of the inactivity, thinking that it'll look good on paper, but I won't come in as fit as I was.
Yeah. Is Canelo going to be at the show, bro? Is Canelo going to be at the show?
Yeah, I know Eddie Reynoso for sure will be at the show, so I think Canelo should be too. But I know he's been at the other prior events because they do a lot of events.
He's got a house in San Diego too, I heard. So yeah.
Yeah, in San Diego. So I think so. I think it's also going to be on TV Azteca. So I think the commentators are coming out and stuff. So it's a pretty good show. They acclimated good and stuff. So
Nice.
Hey, since you said Azteca, I've seen there was a new belt that was created by old Mr. Suleiman down there with the WBC. It's a Aztec Warrior belt.
did they?
Yeah, Pitbull got that belt.
Yeah, Pitbull got it, but hey, man, I know it's a pride thing, but y'all.
That belt look good as fuck, though. I ain't gonna lie, that belt look nice.
You know where I'm going, Skywalker, because there's some of us brothers out here that like that hardware. Y'all gonna let us? Y'all ain't gonna let us just come down there and get that Aztec Warrior belt up off y'all, is it?
They ain't gonna let it happen.
Hey, he created a belt. It's all fair game, right?
It's one and done. Once he wins it, put it up again. That's what they do.
Man, listen, I come from the old school. If somebody got a belt to fight for, you feel me? We're gonna have that Aztec belt up in the Northeast somewhere.
Yeah, they won't put it up again. That's what, because Suleiman likes to give out belts for big occasions, but he just
more for a trophy, yeah.
That's more like a trophy. Yeah, that was a nice job though. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, listen, I feel like when you create a belt like that, it got to be up for grabs, baby. Because you start calling email champs and all types of names, so it need to be up for grabs.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I wouldn't mind it right here. Just hung up.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you a tough question, man. I'm that guy. I like to do that. I like to ask people questions that are just outside of the scope of things. With all the things that are happening right now with, the political environment, is it difficult for you to focus on getting the work in at the gym?
Nah, you see, I'm from Mexico. And my political views might not be every Mexican's political views, and to each its own. But I feel like people get too sensitive, too caught up in stuff that it's not directly affecting them. It could affect your family, whatever it is. But I mean, I come from Mexico, and my family did it the right way. I'm not trying to knock nobody, but my grandparents came from Mexico without nothing, and they became citizens, and then came to the States. Passed some shit to my parents, helped them out, and then they did the same thing for me. So I like I said, to each his own. I know it's hard, not every, and I know people like to point with the immigration and the deportation is just Mexicans, but it's not just Mexicans. They just like to, classify Mexicans, but it's a lot of different,
Right.
But
yeah, I'm not trying to be political.
I feel for my people.
No politics in the show.
No. I'm not trying to be political. I just want to understand what's going on because it impacts everybody, Skywalker. You can't.
I don't care. We ain't talking about politics. Let's get the state of boxing. We'll stay in our lane. But
I love my people, and it is what it is. I hope the best for everybody. I'm not here. I don't hate nobody or nothing. Like I said, they just own their own opinions. It sucks to see some of these people struggling, but directly I'm not affected. I feel for my people.
Yeah. So Saturday, we can see it on Box Azteca. That's what you said. That's going to be streaming on there.
Yeah, it should be on TV Azteca. From what I know, it should be on TV Azteca.
Okay.
It'll be a good fight. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I've watched fights on Boxing Azteca, and I only know a small amount of Spanish, un poco. But that being said, I'll watch it and just be diving in, regardless, because you're watching boxing, all of that stuff. So that's pretty cool, and that's a good platform right there. A lot of eyes are going to be watching all that good stuff. So that's good. Is this the first sort of televised fight you had right here?
Yeah, most of my other fights were streamed. Like I think
Okay.
even when I that Golden Boy card on, it was a Facebook live card, so it was on the stream on the Facebook page. So yeah, it's
Okay, but no, that counts. That counts. Hey,
yeah,
traction in the stream, bro.
yeah. So it's my first TV card. So it's a good way to come back. Being a boxer, I was like, if I believe in the skill that I have and everything, I'm not gonna come back and try to fight, five not bums, but people that are not on the level to try to get back into rhythm. I was like, I might as well come back hard and show that I still got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, ain't no doubt about it. Now, this is going back to kind of when we first hopped on, or when we first started this interview process. Now, did you mention? So I know you have a child. You're a father now. Did you have the child prior to your boxing career, or had you already started fighting?
No, I actually have three now.
Okay, three. Okay, congrats.
Yeah, COVID, not much to do.
Okay, so these were. You had some COVID babies, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
Almost a 1-year-old. She's gonna be one this. My youngest about to be one this month, and I'm 24, so I'm young, But
Oh yeah.
They motivate me. Back then I was fighting for myself, trying to do something for me, that I always wanted as a kid. But now I'm trying to. Yeah, part of it is for me, but now it's for my family. Like I want something they can look up to. Like my dad tried. As far as I make it, I want them to know my dad tried. He pushed himself, because it's not easy trying to come back being a father, and not being signed and having to work and get out to work and go straight to the gym, putting that same work as I used to when I used to not work and just train, and that just speaks to my dedication and the love I have for the sport, make it. So, but they're definitely my motivations now. But no, I didn't have kids before prior to the COVID fighting.
Okay, yeah, you essentially kind of answered the question I was about to ask you, because I was going to ask how fatherhood kind of changed your perspective on things there as you're going through the fight game and all of that stuff. So, hey, I think that's great right there, and I'd imagine that's a big piece of kind of going in there knowing that, hey, there are other mouths to feed, and they're counting on you, to go in there and do your thing. So that could also be some pressure, as well, just thinking about it, but. Hey, how you handle it, and keep your mentality right. I think that's a big factor in that.
It's a little bit of both. More pressure just to succeed for them, but not pressure to perform. Just pressure to succeed for them. Because before, like I said, it was just I was fighting for me, not fighting for more than myself. I'm trying to make this my life and provide for them to just boxing. So, but they definitely keep me grounded now. When I first went pro, I wasn't, at all like super humble, maybe like I am now. Maybe I went about things the right way. Maybe some days I'd skip my miles, and nowadays I don't. I feel like I need to do everything. I don't skip nothing. I make sure I train my ass off every day. And that has to do a lot with my kids. I can't cheat the hustle. I can't come back and fake it. They have to watch their dad fight. And I'm not gonna go up and get my ass beat. So they definitely give me a different sense of motivation of wanting to be better and do better now.
All right. Yeah. And real quick. So stemming kind of stems from sort of that similar vein. Now, 4 years or around 4 years or whatever, that's a significant period of time right there to be outside of the sport for sure. How did you manage that? Just being 4 years out, knowing it's something you want to do, and there's sometimes you might have that dream and you have to postpone it or put that to the side. And for some people, it's forever. You know what I'm saying? So I'd imagine it's sort of a revelation being able to jump back in the mix. But in terms of their real time, what was it like for you, and how did you manage that?
It was definitely hard because I thought about it every day. I was watching my old fight, on my amateur fight. They're all on YouTube, So I used to just watch myself, and I'm like, man, I was good. You're like, now I'll just show my girl, and she would be like, oh, you're lazy. You don't want to get back into it. Like you could do it. If it's what you want to do, if it's gonna, help. If you're gonna succeed through it, and better our life, you know, like I'm all for it, you know, because she never got to see me fight or when I was in camp or nothing, you know. So I was at the same time I'd be like, but you're not used to me having to work and then being gone the rest of the day and you being home with our kids, you know, that's a lot on your plate as well. But it was more me dwelling on myself, but it was really hard because I didn't do nothing my whole life. Like all I did was box, so it definitely like every day like it was like a fight. Like, you know, I kind of told myself every other week like, oh, I'm gonna go back into boxing this week. I'm gonna get back this weekend. And, you know, and then I just be like, oh, like I work a lot. Like, you know, I don't know if it. I always knew I'd get back into it. It was just never like, well, never a matter of if, but when. You know, it was always like I know I'll do it, but I just never like. I'm like maybe when things settle down, maybe when the kids are a little older, maybe when I provide a structure at home, and you know I don't have to worry about going to training and trying to provide and you know make sure everything. Because I do everything on my own. You know, I have my house on my own. You know, I'm 24, so it was just like having to build that foundation first for my family. You know, and then being able to do both and just with a sense of more confidence, you know, not having able to go to the gym, like I'm still worried about home or bills or, you know, like it adds on to it. So, yeah, but it was definitely hard, but because I dwelled on it every day. For like when I stopped every day, I was like, man, when am I gonna get back? When am I gonna get back? And luckily, shout out, like I said, Alvis, my former work supervisor that recognized me and reached out to Robert to let me use his gym, and that's how I got back into it. Thanks to that, I was able to start getting back into the gym, and you know, and shout out, you know, Robert for allowing me to use his gym whenever I needed to, whenever with open arms. Like, thanks to them, I was able to come back. So
That's cool.
Cool. And that's the beauty of the sport right there, kind of that small world, tight knit nature of it right there. Shout out to Robert indeed right there, you know, because that makes the world of difference right there.
Yeah, it made a difference because it's pretty crazy because, you know, I was just working one day and then the supervisor comes up to me, he's like, hey, I know you. And I was like, nah, I didn't grow up on you. I was like, I grew up in India.
Yeah.
And I know you used to fight, you and your brothers, and my own pro heavyweight. So he's like, I know you guys. And I was like, oh, yeah. So what happened? Why'd you stop fighting? And I told him the exact same story I'm telling you guys. And then he was like, well, you know, I'm friends with Robert. And like, let me call him. And if you want to get back into it, you know, maybe we can use his gym. And he took me outside to the yard. And then and there he called him. And he was like, yeah, let him. I'll bring him. You know, he come use the gym whenever. So it took me one day to watch the sparrings over there. And then I started using the gym. I started going every day after work and training right there. So, yeah, shout out Robert for allowing me to use the gym. That's how I got back into the mix.
Hey, let's can we shout out to the spouses and significant others, the support systems that are with these boxers? We want to shout you guys out too. You know, you guys are you're the backbones of these guys. You know, you're the clutch for them, you know, in many ways. So shout out for that. Let me ask you about, do you have a 5 or 10 year plan? Like, where do you see yourself at 5 or 10 years from now?
I'm hoping in 5 years, you know, to be I'm 24 now. It feels like I've been a pro for so long because I turned pro so early, you know. Like I turned pro when I was 17. So you would say 7 years ago now. You know, I don't even be 5-0. You know, I feel like I should be like, had I never stopped, you know. So hopefully in 5 years, you know, I'm in title contention for sure. You know, because I'm hoping to fight at least 5 or 6 times this year. You know, hopefully everything goes good with the fight. I get the victory and we keep moving forward. I'm just trying to like make up lost time now. So I'm trying to like move fast. You know, hopefully get 5, 6 fights this year. Saying now next time that in the next 3, 4, 5 years, you know, I can be in world title contention for sure. So that's a dream.
Hey, you mentioned something earlier about some exhibition fights that sort of count for the record. Can you maybe elaborate on that? I've never heard that before.
It was for my amateurs. Like the city basically throws events, you know, and for the amateurs, but it's not organized by the USA team or it's just like it's basically like sparring sessions, but they make it like a show. You know, you still do like the entrances. It's an event. People still come to watch, stuff like that. You know, it's basically for the kids that don't have money to travel, and it's like all the local gyms come around. You know, and basically
like Star Wars.
Yeah, they do a whole. It's actually like an event. You know, like an amateur fight. You know, like a little tournament. So it's a one-day thing, but you know, they make it a big deal. You know, like you get a whole entrance, you do the wings and stuff. But yeah, so.
Yeah, always some gym wars going down out there. Just know about that for sure there. Especially just thinking about it from the amateur scene for sure. So I understand where you're coming from. That's where you get to work for sure. You never know who you're gonna run into. And when you're in there and doing it on the amateur level in terms of when you're going into these sessions and all that stuff, none of the other stuff, the accolades, any of that matters. It's just you two in there, bump time, what we call it right there.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that's
Hey,
awesome.
Josh, when you refereed the Nationals, how many fights did you ref in one day? Josh?
There one day, well, they split it into two sessions. So generally, we had there were about 80 something refs there. So I would say probably the most I did was 3 to 4 in a single day. But that being said, for an amateur event or whatnot, the most I've done is 14. The most is I've done in an amateur event.
Wow.
The most that I've done in succession, I believe, is either 10 or 11, like 10 or 11 straight. And this was because there was a shortage of refs, and we only had it 1 minute rounds from that point. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you run into some of that sometimes, but no, cool. And the funny thing is, there, Antonio, thinking about it, I was talking about how that amateur experience, it can make a difference. There has been success in the sport in terms of those that don't have the amateur experience as well. So no question about that. But when you do have that amateur background and experience, it can play a role in how you approach things when you turn pro and you understand the magnitude of what you're going up against.
It definitely plays a part. Having the amateur experience, you see a lot of different styles. Maybe some people that don't get that amateur experience, they're basically learning on the job. And it's a little harder. I mean, you can't take it for granted. Some people don't have a lot of amateur experience and they're really good pros, and there's people that have hundreds of amateur fights and they're not the best pros. But I think it definitely plays a factor. Because it helps you see a whole bunch of different. Obviously, also fundamentally more sound. It plays a big role. I know it's how me, having had so many amateur fights and amateur experience and sparring a lot growing up my whole life. It definitely played a role once I turned pro.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And hey, well, what I'll say is certainly, hey, it's great just being able to chat with you here, you sharing the information you've been sharing, and that boxing journey, it can be a long and grueling one, and hey, you go through tough situations, ups and downs, things of that nature. But that being said, you've had this break that might have done you some good as far as the body. You're coming through with a renewed mentality. So the sky's the limit, realistically speaking, in terms of what you can accomplish in the sport. And you have a loss on your record, and you're not letting that get you down, which is something that I think is a plus for all fighters that are out there, because when you look at it from an old school perspective, that didn't matter. At the end of the day, every fight is like a new leash on life there for you. So keeping that right mentality, man, you can find success.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I don't have a loss. That loss is the state of the commission in Mexico, for whatever reason, put a wrong thing. It's not even the right opponent or nothing. So my coaches actually reached out to BoxRec because they submitted the video information and everything. I won that fight. It's the opposite.
Okay.
So
Shit! You got your box rec fucked up. Oh man! So
Yeah,
you're undefeated.
So we had to contact the BoxRec when we spoke to the representative out there, but we submitted the video and everything. So they had to reach out to the Estado de Comisión de Ciudad de Mexico because they made an error.
Damn.
But yeah, I never lost.
Damn, them fuckers, man.
It looks crazy because it's not even the right opponent's name.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the feeling of carrying a loss around, even though it's not a real loss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's funny, because I know, the people that saw that, they know. So it's funny because I know they're probably thinking like, "Oh, he's lost," but I never lost.
Hey,
it's kind of crazy.
That's an advantage, bro.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Good thing, huh? Let them think you got a loss, bro.
Yeah, don't get it twisted, right?
It's pretty funny because I have the video and everything, and that never happened. So it's just, I was like, we reached out to them, so they're reaching out to because the commission in Mexico City has to make that change. So even though I provided the video and everything, they have to wait for them to, submit that they made an error for the day and stuff. But that's crazy because I'm like, okay. You know what I mean?
I was
Like,
getting ready to preach to
yeah.
you, bro, telling you that one loss is not going to affect you because my uncle, he's from Southern Cali, bro. Bobby Chacon, that's my tío, and he was a Hall of Famer, and he has 7 losses, but he had 49 knockouts, 59 wins. He fought all the best, you know what I'm saying? And he was a 2-division world champ at featherweight and super featherweight. So I was getting ready to preach to you, but hey, you're undefeated, bro. So
Never happened. Yeah, it never happened.
I
yeah.
always wonder where they get those pictures from. Like, are those authorized pictures that the fighters give them? Like, what's up with some of them?
On Boxer, yeah, I guess they got one from the fight poster, but that was recent.
Oh yeah.
I used to not have one until they made the fight poster, and I guess they got it from there when I got my California license for this fight and stuff.
Yeah, they're work in progress. I know they don't have every individuals in terms of their amateur fights. They've added their amateur section. I think they only have like international competition, so they don't have the legit amateur records on there either. So yeah, they're a work in progress.
Can you give me 1 minute real quick? My daughter's right here.
Take care of the kids.
Yeah, she wants to be right here. She wants to be right here with me.
yeah.
She's like, sorry.
All good. And shout out to everybody joining right now too as well. Appreciate you all.
Rock
And
Chalk,
shout out Rock Chalk. I don't have the ability to type in here, so
Monka, Rock Chalk, the ladies in the house. Salute.
Indeed, Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. Did I see Bruce? Yep, that's about him.
Boxrec, if you're listening, you guys need to get your shit together. One loss, come on.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I'm sure they have a team there, or at least a staff. It's probably a small staff, and sometimes there are some things that are listed there incorrectly. And interestingly, I know for sure there's like the fight that took place between Sam Langford and Stanley Ketchel back in the day. I think if you look at it on box records, a win on both of their records, which is interesting, right?
Yeah.
That's right. My daughters, my girlfriend's trying to keep them, but
It's all good. We're almost finished, man.
I came from the gym, so they want to be right here. So, I have them right here. I'm like kind of chatting with them at the same time, but they want to be right here.
hey, with you having kids and all, is boxing something you would want to keep your kids away from, or is that something that you wouldn't mind if that's something they want to do?
It's funny because when I first started coming back, going to Robert's gym and doing starting to train, get back into rhythm. My son loves to go, so he loves it, and he's the only boy, and he has 2 sisters, so he roughhouses with them because I mess around with them like that. He doesn't know better, but he loves to put the gloves on and fight. And so does my daughter, my 3-year-old. So I mean, I never say I know a lot of fighters say like they wouldn't want them to do it, but I would support anything my kids want to do. So they show interest and they were good, and I would say why not? I'm not saying they have to change as a career. They can do whatever they want to do, but I would never be against it.
Okay.
Do we get it? Hey, the kids come calling sometimes, Probably got to get to that for sure. I understand.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate your time, brother. We're gonna hype up your fight Saturday. I'm gonna make you a video out of this interview. There's some static feedback, but I'm gonna try to pull a good clip, and I make good videos, bro. So I'll hook you up with a nice video. And yeah, man, we'll be supporting you, man. I'm gonna be tuning in. I get every fight on my TV, so I'll be able to watch your fight.
Sure, it'll be a good one, undefeated versus undefeated. So it's a good opportunity. So
Nice.
I'm undefeated, I'm undefeated, so it's gonna be a good scrap.
Yeah.
For sure. That's what we wanted. We didn't want no light work coming back. We wanted to test ourselves. I want to test myself. I know the level I'm at, so there's no way. I don't want to come back and fight somebody I'm gonna blow out the water.
Yeah.
It doesn't do me no good, So when they offered me this fight, I was like, yeah, I'll do it, So it'll be a good one. And I'm gonna put on a show.
Let's go.
No doubt about it. Hey, appreciate you dropping by for sure. Hey, it was great chatting with you, man. No doubt, and thank you for sharing all this great information for sure.
Sure, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time, shooting an interview.
Yeah, thank you, Antonio. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, good luck Saturday, man. Get that knockout.
Yes, sir. We're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right.
All right, guys. Much love to everybody tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button, share the content. Much love to everybody. I see everybody in the chat. Thank you all for tuning in. And I'll see you guys next Sunday for the Tim Show. We got Pelon coming back. He just got a knockout win, and he's gonna come talk about his fight. So we got a good show Sunday, and we'll be talking about your fight on Sunday too, man. So all right,
Sounds good. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
good luck.